Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to join you to add Canada's and the second Harvest voice to the food loss and waste conversations that are happening today. Second Harvest is Canada's largest food rescue organization. We are tackling food waste through research, training, education, and food rescue and delivery. Our dual vision is no waste, no hunger. And our commitment to the planet is both environmental and societal. We believe that unsold surplus healthy food should be rescued from across the supply chain and redirected to social service organizations to feed communities. For over 35 years, we have been rescuing and delivering perishable food. Primarily protein, dairy, and produce, as these are the foods that are hardest to access for low-income people. We do this with a fleet of refrigerated trucks and third-party logistics to ensure we can get our food from coast to coast to coast. Canada has the second largest landmass in the world at almost 10 million square kilometers. So recently, we began to leverage technology to connect businesses with food directly to organizations who need food through our food rescue app and our online platform. We receive food from thousands of businesses. They do this to be good corporate citizens. It also reduces waste hauling fees. And producers in some of our provinces have tax incentives. Food waste reduction is now very much a focal point in a business's sustainability planning, and frontline staff are pressuring corporations to do the right thing. Food rescue is not unique to us. There are organizations operating in many parts of the world, and new ones are launching all the time. At Second Harvest, we believe the best way to change the world is together. And that drives us to collaborate and share our model and best practices with organizations right across the globe. We have supported England, Turkey, Barbados, and many other countries in their quest to rescue food. Understanding food rescue is different depending on regional supply and cold chains, and it requires different solutions, resources, and infrastructure to be successful. But to truly attempt to fix the problem, we had to understand the scope of it. And so we invested in world-first research. The avoidable crisis of food waste identified that Canada wastes 58% of all the food produced for us. We waste more food than we consume. 32% of which is completely avoidable and edible. We lose over 20% during production and processing. Manufacturing and household waste followed at 13% and 14%, with hotels, restaurants, and institutions adding 9%, leaving retail contributing just 4% of overall food waste in Canada. It is clear that by treating food as a commodity, we have lost the intrinsic value, that it is the life-sustaining nourishment we need. Each year, 11.2 million metric tons is unnecessarily wasted in Canada. We produce enough food to feed 52 million people, and yet there are only 37 million of us. 5 million Canadians are food insecure and do not have reliable access to good, healthy, adequate amounts of good quality, nutritious food. We manage these gaps to our social safety net through an uncoordinated patchwork of charities and nonprofits. Recently, through another research report we commissioned, we identified that there are over 61,000 social service organizations providing food to those who need it at no or low cost. Today, 6% of these charities are in our National Food Bank network, a place where basic provisions, canned and shelf-stable items are supplied free of charge. Leaving 94% of the places where people who need healthy meals, fresh and shelf-stable food, left to access it through an invisible food network. At schools or shelters, at soup kitchens or faith-based organizations, at community centers or day programs for seniors, youth, or people with disabilities, at drop-in centers and mental health programs. This invisible food network also supports people in recreational and social clubs, libraries, in job support programs, in outreach organizations for new immigrants, at low-income and housing support programs, or while getting clinical services. Organizations feeding people must be certified in safe food handling, and locations are required to be inspected by local public health authorities annually to ensure food safety compliance. Canada also has legislation protecting food businesses who donate food in good faith to ensure that should someone get sick from donated food, the business is not liable. However, this has never happened. At the same time, huge amounts of food are going into landfill, creating greenhouse gases and directly contributing to our climate crisis. The avoidable food loss and waste in Canada alone equates to 22.2 million tons of CO2 equivalents, equal to the annual emissions of 5 million cars. Food waste is responsible globally for about 8% of all greenhouse gas emissions. And if food waste were a country, it would be the third largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world, following China and the USA. We have an environmental imperative to drastically reduce the amount of GHG equivalents that unnecessarily enter our atmosphere if we hope to mitigate the catastrophic impacts of climate change. And when you consider it takes lettuce 25 years to decompose in landfill, and the water required to produce just one orange is 52 liters, we clearly have a food systems problem that needs to be addressed. In the last 12 months alone, Second Harvest has rescued 40 million pounds of healthy food and redirected it to over 4,300 food programs, resulting in the diversion of 150 million pounds of greenhouse gases, equivalent to the carbon sequestered by over 1 million trees. And by ensuring we redirected this great food to people, we prevented approximately 2 billion liters of water being wasted. That's the amount of water it would take to fill 12,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. But in addition to the social and environmental reasons to keep food out of landfill, there are very good economic ones as well. A recent Royal Bank study showed that even during the pandemic, responsible investing, sometimes known as environmental, social, and governance investing, is stronger than ever in Canada. 77% of investors are interested in responsible investing, with assets growing from $2.1 trillion in 2017 to $3.2 trillion by 2020. Protecting the environment is becoming more and more important to the public at large. There's a lot of work to do, so it's important that we all advocate for change. And there needs to be government interventions as well to ensure swift and sustainable change. As a member of Canada's Food Policy Advisory Council, making policy and legislative recommendations, we are advocating for the reduction of food waste through mandatory measuring and monitoring, updating date labeling practices, and also advocating to support industry to help execute these changes in their business practices. There is a lot of work to be done, but I am confident that as a global community, working together, This is not a problem that can't be solved. And I ask you to join me in our food rescue revolution and do what you can to reduce food loss and waste near you. Thank you.